Hello there, my name is Argentum. Originally, I did not want to do a speculation video on the V clan selection, but since Bushi decided to reveal two clans that I play on the same exact day, I thought might as well do a video talking about the reveal effects and how the reveal effects will interact with the rest of the clan. So without further ado, let us begin. Okay, quick disclaimer before I get lynched by the lynch mob. Bushi only gave us what the cards will do, but not the exact effects. So in parts of the video, there will be some personal speculation relating to the exact effect or sometimes the cost of the cards. So I hope the viewers can understand if in the future the actual effect is very different from what I told you here. Let us begin with a clan that most of you here probably do not care about, which is Megacolony. 3 new Megacolony cards will be getting a retrain this time, which is Brillian Blister, Armor Beetle, and of course, Master Beetle. Before I go any further, please take note that the Twitter post is in Japanese and I do not read Japanese, so the translated effects were provided by my friends in the share group. You guys know who you are. Power to you all if you are watching this video. So without further ado, let us get on to our first card, which is Brilliant Blister. So this card is very interesting because it will bounce itself back to your hand if certain conditions are met, and then you can use it as a hand trap to stop your opponent's rear guard attack. Okay, so this card, it seems like they want you to call him down early to either attack or to boost. Then after that, if your opponent is foolish enough to do the full rested board, you will pay a certain cost, okay, to bounce him back to the hand to draw one. This card will almost certainly have an effect that activates when it's called to the Guardian Circle. So my guess is, if it's called to a Guardian Circle, you pay a certain cost, then choose one of your opponent's standing rear guards in the front row and rest it. So it stops one of their rear guards from attacking on that turn. So this Brilliant Blister is actually a retrain of our old Brilliant Blister, which stops a Vanguard attack. But it's alright because, in my opinion, in Premium right now, stopping rearguard attacks are more important because we have the force markers, or some decks will withstand their rearguard. Also, don't forget, Megacolony doesn't have the best G-guard, so this will be an additional defensive option, especially against decks that have a lot of rearguards or are using force too. Okay, now we'll enter speculation territory. I personally think that his power will be lower than usual because there's always a drawback. This card helps you push and it also helps you defend. So no way the power is going to be the same level as what we have seen with Great Ones. So I'm assuming the power level will be slightly lower. And as for the cost, I do think the cost will be discard a normal unit so that you can set up for your Gentleman Morph. And also you can discard Intrude Scissors from your hand to set up for your Intrude Scissors play. As for the hand trap effect, I do think that the hand trap effect will be Soul Blast 1, okay, because Soul Blast 1 is easier to manage in Megacolony than Counter Blast 1, but we shall see because maybe they do not want you to keep using this effect many times in a single turn, so maybe they might add the Counter Blast 1 cost, but regardless, I hope that it will rest the unit and the rested unit cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase, so it helps you to do double duty. The next card I want to talk about is Machining Armor Beetle. Okay, the first half of the effect is pretty standard. Okay, you just paralyze an opponent's rear guard. My guess is that the paralyze works as an on place based on the old Armor Beetle effect. So it's either when you ride on the Vanguard or when you call him out onto the rearguard circle, you just get to paralyze an opponent's rearguard. I personally think that the second skill will take away one of your opponent's units intercept and boost. But the activation cost, I personally think it will be Rest himself. I personally do not play machinings, but from what I've seen, they will like to rest their rearguards and then restand their rearguards for benefits. So I think this plays into the machining game plan. Additionally, we need to consider what Master Beetle does. And Master Beetle gains additional drive check equals to the number of rested rearguards on both sides. We'll talk about that later. So I think having an effect that rests himself to take away your opponent's intercept and boost is very likely. I think that the first effect will be just the same as the old armor Beetle's effect. You just call him and you just move a unit into your soul, and you paralyze one of your opponent's units. So this also helps with Machining's game plan of wanting rearguards in their soul. And also, the second skill, I'm not putting once per turn on that skill because I want to make this skill a bit abusable in the Machining deck. Based on Bushiroad's description, I do think this card is less exciting when compared with Brillian Blister. Yes, paralyzing an opponent's unit can be good, and taking away their boost and intercept can mess with them, but this is just not so good when we compare to Brilliant Blister, but it's still a good option to have. However, I won't be putting this into my Megacolony deck because I have a really tight grade 2 lineup. The last card for Megacolony is Master Beetle. Well, we haven't seen him in a very long time, and guess what? He has returned to bring a new playstyle to Megacolony, like every single Megacolony boss unit. Let us see what Bushiroad has to say about him. So you get to paralyze multiple rearguards, okay, so far so typical, and steal their power, okay? Steal, the word here is steal, that means they are going to probably lose some amount of power and you're going to gain the power loss. That's what I'm assuming. Increase your drive checks depending on the number of rested units on both sides of the field. So that means he will get drive checks equals to the number of rearguards that are rested on your side and your opponent's side of the field. I think this one is pretty easy to speculate. I think he'll have the old Master Beetle's effect but at a way reduced cost, and the rearguards that you paralyze will lose all their power and Master Beetle will gain that power. For the drive check skill, I think it only activates when your opponent is on grade 3 or higher, because Bushiroad probably wants to slow both V and Premium down. And I personally think that you only get one drive check for every 3 rearguards at rest. So even if you have a full board, you are unable to get a lot of drive checks. So it requires your opponent to be careless, okay, for you to get more than one additional drive check. Based on what Bushiroad had told us, I'm personally not really hyped for Master Beetle. I mean, he's cool looking, of course, but Giraffa and Ganicolio has already been serving me very well in Premium up until this point. So I doubt Master Beetle can fill that niche of minusing 2 that we get from Giraffa. But we shall see, personally, I don't think he's that good, but he can be a fun deck that helps you plus. With Megacolony out of the way, let us begin with what most of you had come here for me to talk about the Shadow Paladin units. This time round, we are getting 2 retrains, Rakia and Rukea, and we are also getting a new unit in the form of Raging Fall Reverse, which is the reverse form of Raging Form Dragon. Now let us see what Bushiroad has to say about their skills and effect. Okay, for our first Shadow Paladin card, we'll see what Bushi has to say about Rakia. When he's rode upon by a Revenger, you can call a Revenger from your deck, and as a rearguard, he has a skill to increase the number of your allies. Okay, I don't actually know what's the real effect, what's the cost, is it call from hand or whatever, but based on this description alone, I can tell you for certain, this is quite the important card for your Raging Form decks. Trust me. I doubt he's an actual extender, like you can't really call him out using Raging Form. I mean, you could, but you would probably not get the superior call, because I'm having a suspicion that they might repeat a Tartu here, that he only builds up your board if he's called from hand. Okay, this is what I hope his effect will be. Alright, when a Revenger writes him, you Soul Blast 1. Okay, why the Soul Blast? Because if you write Tartu on him, you can Soul Blast 2 to call 2 grade 1 Revengers from your deck. Alright, and the Soul Blast cost is easier to manage in a Raging Form deck due to the constant superior right. But as on a rearguard circle, I don't want to make him too free, so that's why I made him a Counter Blast 1. And my guess is that he'll be a Tartu, so no extending with your Raging Form's 4 damage superior right, superior call effect. Personally, unless Bushi overcosts this card, I think he's a very good card, even though we do not know the full extent of his effects, because he helps you build up a board for you to start retiring as soon as you get up to your Raging Form Dragon. With Rakia out of the way, let us talk about Rukea. So from Rukea's effect, we know that if she's ridden by a Revenger, you add a Revenger from your deck to your hand. Okay, this sounds like it's helping you to secure extra copies of Raging Form or Raging Fall, and power up when there is a Grade 1 or higher Revenger. Use it together with Rakia. The power up effect reminds me of the old Rukea effect, and personally I don't think use it together with Rakia means that she's like Doreen and she works like Doreen and Cloudas. I don't think it means that. I think what it means is that Rakia can help her get the power up. Regarding Rukea's first effect, I do not think that you can get any Revenger from your deck to your hand, because in Premium that would mean that you just have free access to MacLair, which is the perfect guard. I think it probably means that you can use it to search for specific things. What specific things? Probably Grade 3 Raging cards or Grade 3 Revenger cards, so you can secure your superior right. In a way, I think Rukea will be the new Maul for V and for Premium. I do personally think that she's an amazing card because she's a Maul and a White Gore Dragon in one. And remember what I said about those two cards, I actually rated those two cards quite highly in my Raging Form deck profile video. So yeah, this is probably a must play in any Raging Form deck, unless they overcost the effect or the plus power is just only once per turn. Personally, my personal speculation, I think the search effect is a counterblast one, because you don't want this deck to just keep using soul, it's a bit too free. And the second effect is just an improved version of her old effect. So nothing too much here. Pretty typical stuff. Maybe I'll get the cost wrong, but I think this is probably what she does. She's just a Maul and a White Gore Dragon in one. And yeah, just like Rakia, she's a pretty decent card in the Raging Form deck. We have saved the best for last, and our last card of the day is Revenger Raging Fall Dragon Reverse. Let's see what Bushiroad has to say about the corrupted form of rage. So what does Bushiroad tell us about this card? You get to multi-attack by locking your own rear guards, and if you ride it from a Raging Form Dragon, the superior right that Raging Form Dragon gives, you can attack with a few more extra attacks. Well, this is a tough nut to crack because all we know is you just keep attacking. But how? Honestly speaking, your guess will be as good as mine. I've cooked up something based on what Bushi told us and what I think is balanced. The first effect is based on what Bushi told us, that if we rode it from a Raging Form Dragon, you get additional attacks. So this might not be additional Vanguard attacks, but rather additional rearguard attacks, because you have to replenish your board, only you can start locking them again. So I've added a cost of Soul Blast 3 and you need to be at Limit Break 4. This is a way to make the card a bit balanced. Okay, the second effect is the Restand effect. Okay, personally I don't think it will be a superior Persona Right unit. I think it will be a Restander, because the Bushi clearly told us that, power up by locking our own rear guards. So the Soul Blast 1 Grade 3 is a way to make sure you can't really spam this effect unless you have performed a Raging Form turn before this. This is honestly my least confident speculation of the day, so feel free to tell me how wrong I am when the actual effects are revealed. So what do I think about this card? I think he's pretty strong because he allows you to multi-attack, and I think he's definitely way better than Moderate, because Moderate is basically a vanilla in the Raging Form Dragon deck, but you're forced to run him because he gives you a Force Marker and he's a Revenger. So if you want to play Raging Form Dragon, this is definitely something that you must pick up regardless of if his effect is overcosted or not. We have finally reached the end of the video. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please let me know if this type of video interests you. if you like to see more of this kind of video, please let me know in the comments, and I might do one for Genesis and Grand Blue. Thank you for watching. But before I end this video, I have a bit of an announcement to make. I'm currently testing out a few very janky and very, pet decks for premium, and I'm also making a video on power level with its relation to your card game play group. So stay tuned for those videos, and thank you for watching. Take care and stay safe.